Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to use Lasso tool in the app IBIS Paintx. So in Lasso tool you can see many subdivisions like this. You may not know how to use them. Sometimes you may use them wrongly and you may not aware of it. So there are so many things when it comes to learning an app for the first time. So I will help you to understand them better step by step and with a brief explanation. So in this video I'm only going to give full details about the Lasso tool, its option, and how you can use for the purpose of copy and paste. So first, here you can see copy and paste, but you don't know how to combine Lasso tool and copy and paste. So I'm going to explain everything in detail. So first of all, this is the Lasso tool and I'm using the canvas background drawing paper rough 3 because I'm going to do a Lasso tutorial explanation tutorial with the example of watercolor illustration. So for the watercolor illustration, the drawing paper rough 3 canvas works better, so I'm going to show that one. So first of all, whenever we open the Lasso tool, there will be 3 symbols at the bottom. One is set, second one is add, and third one is subtract. Usually the add button is on whenever we on the Lasso tool. So what Lasso tool will do is when we select an area using the Lasso tool, we can only draw in that area. So here you can see in the selection layer, whatever I have drawn a leaf shape, only that leaf shape is visible as a selection area in that. So for example, if your background is something black and using the Lasso tool you are selecting an area and using clear option of that layer, if you're using that whatever you have selected, there only it clears. So this is how the Lasso works. So whatever you do after selecting a particular area using the Lasso tool, only you can perform in that selected area. So now you can see in the selection layer you have selected only this part. You can draw, erase, everything you do only in that particular area. So that is the basic purpose of Lasso tool. And when you want to clear that selection part, whether you can use this last option at that for the selection. First, when it comes to initially when we click on the Lasso tool, it will be in the add mode. Here you can see in the second option is the add mode. So when I'm using the add mode, I can select a leaf shape and then add some more petals and it will just get added. So when I click the set symbol in the that is the first option, and if I draw that using Lasso tool, so it is like a reset option. You can draw, and when you draw something else, the area which I have selected already will be erased and you have to draw something again for the first time, something like that. So this is the set option, and next one is the subtract option. When it comes to subtract option, you can subtract or remove any particular area that you have already selected using the Lasso tool. So here you can see I already have a leaf like flower like structure, and if I want to add any details or remove any details using the subtract tool, I can just remove those areas. Here you can see wherever I use the subtract option, they are just removed from the selection area, and if I draw anything on that area, it will not appear because we have already removed that area from the selection using the subtract tool. So this is how it works. Next comes this transform tool, which is under the Lasso tool. So this exactly performs the same thing that we do with the usual transform tool. We can just move it wherever we want. We can do perspective operation on the selected area, whatever. We can do anything that we can usually do using the transform tool. So here you can see I use some mesh tool on that, and the shape is a little bit clumsy now. So this is how the transform tool works. So now invert tool is, we have already selected area, and if we click on the invert option next to the transform option, we can just select the other areas except the area that we have selected already. Here you can see before I have like a flower like shape, and now when I click the invert option, this invert option, everything every area other than that flower area are selected. So once again, if you click the invert option, again the flower shape gets selected, and again if you click the invert option, it will select the remaining areas, and it is a vice versa operation. So that's how it works. And next comes the clear. Last thing is clear. So whatever the area you have selected get cleared using this. So you can just clear this selection area in two ways, either by using the selection layer or these two. So you can just click, if you click on the layer and remove it, we can't remove. Instead, you have to click on the selection layer and then remove using the clear option, or otherwise you can use the lasso clear option, which is at the last. So you can do like this. So now I'm going to give an example like how you can use practically this lasso layer. So I have mentioned everything in a theoretic way. You have got some idea after this, up to this, but you may not know how to use them properly. For that sake, I am showing this. So using add option in this, I just drawn a flower like shape. I don't know what this flower exactly, but for an example I use this. So now it is in the add option of that lasso tool. So now I have selected a flower like shape, and now I'm going to draw some watercolor illustration on that area. So basically I'm going to draw a watercolor flower. So using watercolor edge brush, I'm just adding this bright pink color, and then I'm going to fade them, make them little bit watery using watercolor water brush. So here you can see, we can, if you want to change the watercolor water brush color, you can just make it a little bit mild and different color. So I'm just choosing something yellowish, and by this way we can just blend the pink and yellow. Now I'm using watercolor bleed brush to add some yellowish color to this. So here you can see, and if you want to fade it when you feel like it gets more, so you can simply use the watercolor water brush to fade them and blend them together well. So since this is not a watercolor tutorial, I'm just going to concentrate on the lasso tool. So here you can see using now also it is in the add option. So now I'm going to add few more petals for this flower, which are at the which are the inner part of the flowers. So here you can see these are the petals are at the other side, and when we see from this perspective we can see the inner side of those petals. So imagine something like that. So when we are in the add option of that lasso tool, the whatever we are adding, it gets added to the already selected area. So now I'm going to make a mild pinkish color and do this process. Since it is inner part, I'm going to keep the inner part of the petals very mild. So I feel like they are interfering with the other petals, so I just made that brush size smaller and doing the same thing like watercolor water brush to blend them, make them watery, and then using watercolor bleed brush I'm going to add some extra colors to add some flavors to the flower. So here you can see I'm adding something like orangish color to blend them with the pink color. I'm making the edges a little bit darker. Okay, make sure you didn't disturb the other petals which are at the front side. So now it is ready. Now using the lasso tool, I'm going to show you how to add the details. So click on the lasso tool, click on the subtract button, and now I'm just removing these areas from the selection. So already we have the flower like shape in the selection area, and I'm just removing little bit lines like shapes, and for the inner part of the petals I'm just making lines like these, irregular lines, and removing those areas from the selection. So this is how you don't need to select a bigger like details, just like a strokes you can just remove, and this works well with the flower detail. So now I am using some other color. Okay, I don't want the mild color. I'm going with some dark color. I'm going with the red color. Here you can see after adding the strokes, you can see whatever I have removed from the selection area using the subtract tool, they are lighter. You can see they showing some details because we didn't add any dark reddish color to that area, because already we have removed that places from the selection. So to add some more details, edgy details to the petals, I'm just using some dark maroon like color to add little bit strokes at the side edges of the petal, so that you can just differentiate between the outer part of the flower and the inner part of the flower. So this is how I'm just adding details, darker details very mildly. I'm not making any big strokes. So then using watercolor water brush, and then blending the darker shades that we have already added. So here you can see using a small size brush, I'm just blending them. Now you can find a little bit difference between the front part and the back part, and the main thing is we have already selected removed some areas using that subtract tool, and you can see they are more visible, looks like a clear strokey detail. So I have now cleared the selection. Now you can see this is the artwork. Here are the details that I have removed from the selection using the subtract tool. So this is how you can add beautiful minute details to your illustration using this lasso tool and its subdivisions like add, subtract. So here you can see if you want to add some more details, again once you cleared the selection, you can just simply click on the undo option. The area that we have already selected will be visible again, and you can add the details. So since for the watercolor illustration I usually recommend drawing in a single area, single layer. So again I'm going to add the stem details in the same layer. So now I'm just adding the bottom part of this flower like this. So now only this area is in the selection part. So using the add tool I have done this, and now using subtract tool I'm just removing some stroke like areas from inside of that selection. So you may not feel visible now, but when we apply the color you can clearly see where I removed the areas. So I'm using some darker green color, then going with some mild green, and then using some yellowish color. So again I feel like I have to add some strong green strokes, so I just done that, and using watercolor water brush, using some mild green color, I'm just blending them. So now you can see the areas that I have removed using the subtract tool. So this looks good, and then I'm going to use the watercolor bleed brush to add some colors. Again adding some darker greenish color. So already we have done one step of subtraction here. So what it looks if I do another set of subtraction in this area, so I will show that. So already we have done one subtraction, and now again I'm going to add some details by subtracting. So here you can see in the bottom part I'm just doing like a leaf like strokes, thinner strokes in those areas. So now because I am using the subtract option from the lasso, these areas get removed from the selection. So now if I am using some darker color, some darker color to give it a stroke, here you can visibly see the difference. So it gives beautiful texture as well as the details which we can not get very easily. So here you can see after I removed the selection, here this is how it looks. So it looks really beautiful, highly detailed, textured, and so I have shown you every option you can do in this lasso tool, so you will be very clear about how to use the lasso tool now. So next I'm going to show you how to use the copy and paste as well as with the lasso tool. So this is in the everything I have drawn in a single layer. So now I'm selecting the area, I'm just selecting entire flower using that, and if you want to do copy and paste, whatever in that area will be get selected and pasted in a new layer. So using the lasso tool we can do the copy and paste. It looks very easy. It almost look like a duplicating the layer process. You may think like this, but since we are using the empty background, it looks very easy. But when you are using a layer with the multiple details and a flower within that, if you want to move that, copy that flower from that layer using lasso tool, you can accurately select and copy that layer. So if you now you can see I just only selected some part of these flower, and if I do the copy and paste option now, I'm sorry. So what I have to do is make sure you which layer you are at. So if you are in the wrong layer and selecting that art, and if you're doing copy and paste, it will not come because there is no artwork in that another layer. So make sure which layer you're in. So now you can see only the selected part of that flower is get copied and moved to the new layer. So this is how you can do a beautiful copy layer. So now I'm going to do same copy and paste option but for the different purpose. So I don't want this, I just want to copy this petal and add another petal to this flower. So now I'm just copying just the petal accurately and pasting it. I'm just moving wherever I want. If you want here, okay, I want it here. I can keep like this and click the tick symbol. Okay, now I added another petal to this. Then you can easily merge and make them a single flower. So just you can see this. If I click merge, they get merged. So we can do something like this. It is very easy using the lasso tool. Then we have another option that is cut. So now I don't want this to be here, but I want this petal to be at somewhere else. So here you can see I just clicked the cut option and here is the paste. So when I click the paste option, whatever that was at that area is no more visible because that get cut and now it is in the new position. So here you can see I just removed from this area and moved to this. Now it is in the new layer. You can just simply merge using the layer merge option. And here you can see already we have added another petal. We can then merge them all together and make a single flower. So now only for the teaching purpose I done that, but I actually like the real flower, so I just deleted this layer. So here this is how you can make use of this lasso tool to do something really unique and very interesting. So here you can see only small part of that flower I've just copied and pasted and it looks really awesome. So I hope you understood better about the lasso tool. So for the bonus, I'm going to give you a simple tip, that is, so now I'm going to add the background. So here you can see, so since only for the reference purpose, I'm just duplicating these layers. If I made any mistake, you can just make use of that layer. So I'm just duplicating and making them invisible. Then I'm just merging all the flowers into a single layer. So using magic wand tool and just clicking on the empty area. So what happens is whatever the empty area except the flower get selected and you can simply add the watercolor background. So only for the example I'm doing this, so I didn't mind about the colors, so only for the example purpose I'm showing this. So you can add any background details like this very easily without disturbing that flower. So here you can see I have made so many strokes with different colors, but the flower didn't get affected. It remains the same, only we are adding the background color using this wand tool. Now I just use the clear option. Now you can see the flower is never get disturbed and we can easily add the background. So now this is the original thing that I have drawn. So yeah, I gave you everything, every detail about the lasso tool. I hope you really like this. You'll make unique, beautiful artworks using this method. So, thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel. I will show details about the clipping alpha lock layers in the future. So subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.